The Flash Fastest Man Alive #1 is a decent and enjoyable Flash tale that gives you pretty much exactly what you would want to see in a Flash story. But nothing I would really call amazing or great, really. It's good enough for what it is, nothing more, nothing less. Let's start with the best thing about this issue, that being how it portrays the Scarlet Speedster himself, Barry Allen. The comic actually starts off quite good, with Barry just wanting to take his big crush, Iris West, on this nice, cheap cruise trip for a couple days. It may sound basic at first glance, but it's really the most interesting part of the comic, as it gives us a good idea of how Barry sees the world around him and how it can cause him to be a socially awkward guy. As Barry himself explains, part of his super speed is that he's able to, think and process information really fast, along with the physical super speed. This prevents him from going so fast that he can't process the info in front of him, and thus he doesn't splat into a wall and kill himself or anything like that. However, it also prevents him from really living in the moment and makes him feel kind of out of touch with the people around him. The only person who's really able to keep him on her level, though, is Iris, probably due to Barry's feelings for her. And thus, we see the two of them sort of bond and have a fun time on this cruise despite how awkward Barry is. Thankfully for him, Iris seems to like that about Barry. This makes the first half of the comic very likable and honestly kind of heartwarming as well. I get why he's not everyone's favorite Flash, I think Wally West is great too, but Barry is so likable that I can't help but see him as the definitive Flash. Plus, I also kind of like his chemistry with Iris here, even if it does give me Peter and MJ vibes. Those types of couples in general, I usually just find myself really liking a lot in fiction. Maybe it's because I relate to characters like Barry and Peter more than I probably should. Yeah, I'm a fucking loser, I know. Look at me, I'm spending my quarantine dissecting a Flash comic book. Anyway, this dance scene is the part of the issue where things go from pretty good to just decent, as this is where the villain of the comic, King Shark, shows up to terrorize people and nearly sink the ship they're on due to it polluting his ocean, causing Barry to have to go into Flash mode and fight off King Shark while saving the boat from sinking. Ironically, the superhero part of this issue isn't nearly as interesting as the more human first half, but it's still enjoyable enough. We get some fun fights between Flash and King Shark, some decent enough tension with the boat sinking slowly while Flash is pulled underwater with Shark. It's some good old-fashioned Flash fun. As I said before, nothing more, nothing less. I do like how Flash eventually defeats King Shark, with him remembering a small moment earlier in the comic when Iris takes a picture of King Shark, which pisses the big guy off due to the camera's flash bothering him. Barry then remembers that Shark's eyes are special in that they allow him to see in the dark, but this also makes them very sensitive to light. So, with the ship's crew's help, he has Shark surrounded by nothing but bright lights, making it easier for Flash to just go to town on the big fish until he finally goes down. It's a pretty fun and smart solution that shows Barry using his head more in the fight while also reminding us how fast-moving his thought process tends to be. That seems to be the theme of this issue, that Barry wants to be a more chill guy, just dancing with the love of his life on a nice cruise date, but due to his powers, he is physically unable to half the time since he literally can't seem to stay in the moment for very long. I'll at least give the second half of this comic that, as it makes the opening narration of the issue and the ending solution come full circle. One more thing I do like about this comic is how it's drawn. The characters are done in this cute, kinda cartoony style that does fit with the Flash character here, but the art really excels in the action, especially in situations where we see the Flash using his super speed. The more lean and slightly stretchy way Flash is drawn here really does make it apparent that he's going really fast in these scenes. Huge props to the artist for that, as feeling the speed of the action in a Flash comic book is, kind of fucking essential, so yeah. Last thing I'll say about this comic's art is how Barry himself is drawn. The way he's drawn here interests me because, you know those typical fan castings people have of who they want to see play the Flash in his upcoming movie? Especially now that Ezra Miller is not likely to stick around much longer. These fan castings are the same exact actors named over and over again, and judging by the number of characters that these actors are already fan cast as to begin with, these fuckers could probably play any DC character, judging by what these fans are saying. But we're going a bit off topic now. What I'm saying is, Barry's design in this book has given me my own fan casting idea, and let me tell you, it's miles better than this shit. Now, hear me out on this. Conan O'Brien as Barry Allen. Seriously, look at Barry's face in this panel. The resemblance is uncanny. Just dip that man's hair in some bleach, and you got the perfect middle-aged Barry Allen. Probably years after he and Iris got married and had a kid, now Barry is your typical middle-aged dad trying to be cool. Andy Muschietti, if by some miracle you're watching this, feel free to take these ideas, man. Seriously. Conan O'Brien's Barry Allen, make it happen. Okay, back to the actual review. Overall, The Flash, Fastest Man Alive #1 starts off pretty damn good, exploring Barry's powers and mental state a little, while also giving us a cute little story with him and Iris. But then when King Shark shows up, it sort of becomes your basic, but still pretty enjoyable superhero tale. Not my favorite of DC's digital-first comics, but I still had some fun with this one. And now, to kill the mood, I will end with the Birds of Prey basically calling Flash a one-pump wonder.
Flash's foes, they finish last. Too bad sometimes he's just too fast.